Today we will discuss a small topic from IB, International Business. The topic is Theoretical Foundations of International Business. In the previous video, I have already uploaded international business approaches, that is ethnocentric, polycentric, regiocentric and geocentric. Okay. One more thing I want to tell you, that is because of time constraint, I am just giving a brief content, okay. I already told you in the beginning itself, that is when we started uploading videos about commerce related subjects, that is these videos will be helpful for a quick recollection purpose. But I am trying to include all relevant topics from all commerce related subjects. But you should be careful that you have to study or read or understand the entire concepts in detail by other reference books. Then only these quick recollection methods will be useful, okay? For any exam, you have to read the subject thoroughly. And this video will help you to recollect all relevant concepts in a brief manner. Okay, then let's start. When we talk about international business, we can observe different approaches and different theories. But the ultimate objective of these theories is to explore the needs, significance and benefits of international business made between countries around the world. Okay, the theories pertaining to international business can be broadly classified into two parts, that is classical theory and modern theory. Classical model of international trade means it assumes only one factor of production. There is different factors of production, right? That is man, money, machine, material. Okay. So here this classical model of international trade assumes only one factor of production, that is labor. Whereas in neoclassical models of international trade, it assumes more than one factor of production. That is, it incorporates two factors of production, that is labor and capital. We can say Heckscher-Ohlin model is an example for neoclassic model of international trade. Okay, these are the important theories of international business. That is theory of mercantilism, theory of absolute advantage by Adam Smith, theory of comparative cost advantage by David Ricardo, and factor endowment theory by Heckscher-Ohlin. It's also called Echo theory, general equilibrium theory, factor proportion theory, and modern theory of factor endowment. Country similarity theory. It's also called income preference similarity theory by Stephen Bell Linder. New trade theory by Paul Krugman. Product life cycle theory by Vernon. Theory of competitive advantage by Michael Porter. Posner's technological gap model. It's also called imitation gap theory. Theory of reciprocal demand by J.S. Mill. Opportunity cost theory by Haberler. Vent for surplus theory by Mint. These are the important theories involved in international business. First theory is theory of mercantilism. This theory evolved during 16th and 17th centuries, and it's based on the theory of mercantilism. At that time, wealth of a country is evaluated by its holdings of gold and silver. That is, it treated gold and silver only as the wealth of nations and did not take into account the value of goods and services. Actually, this theory is emerged in England. This theory states that gold and silver are the wealth of nations. So, gold and silver are essential for business of the country. So, it became the medium for exchange of goods. By exporting goods, a country received gold, and by importing goods, it was out of gold and silver. Okay. So the crux is that export of goods are treated as good for a country because it will result in flow of gold. At the same time, import was treated as bad because it will result outflow of gold. That is, outflow of gold and silver from the country's reserve. So it restricted import of countries due to the fear of losing gold and silver reserve. So at that time, government introduced many policies for reducing import in the economy by imposing duties on imports. At the same time, maximum efforts for encouraging exports. Okay. In short, we can say mercantilism theory advocates imposing restrictions on imports, and it also creates a favorable environment to the export business firm in the form of granting subsidies, tax rebates, etc. So collecting gold and silver was considered as a sign of wealth and prestige. That's about theory of mercantilism. Okay. One more theory I would like to discuss, that is theory of absolute advantage by Adam Smith. According to Adam Smith, the productive efficiency among different countries will differ. It is because of diversity in natural and acquired resources possessed by them. We can say the difference in natural advantage may be varying climate, quality of land, availability of minerals, and other natural resources. This is the case of diversity in natural resources. Okay, there is also diversity in acquired resources. Acquired resources means that is different levels of technology and skills. Okay, according to this theory, a particular country should export those goods which can be produced more efficiently at home and should import the goods which can be produced more efficiently abroad. That is, if a country can produce certain goods with greater efficiency, that is at lower cost, that is said to be the absolute advantage of that particular country. Clear? Here Adam Smith argued that different countries enjoyed absolute advantage in the production of some goods. Okay, say this table. We can say USA has an absolute advantage in the production of wheat. India has an absolute advantage in the production of cloth. So here India need to concentrate or specialize in the production of cloth. At the same time, USA has to concentrate only on the production of wheat. So the two countries would benefit and world output will increase. In short, according to this theory, a country will specialize in the production of those products having absolute cost advantage and import other products having absolute cost disadvantage. So according to this theory, India need to give more focus on the production of cloth and import wheat from USA. Clear? So the crux of this theory is that the ability of a party, that may be an individual, firm or a country. Okay. So ability of a party to produce a good or service more efficiently than its competitors. Here absolute advantage means fewer resources are needed to produce the same amount of goods and there will be lower cost than other economies. Economic sense, or in simple term, we can say absolute advantage. It happens when a producer of a good can make that product at a lower cost than another. That is, this particular producer can produce that good or service in greater quantity for the same cost or the same quantity at a lower cost than other producers. Okay, we can discuss some remaining theories in another video. Today I am going to conclude. In this video I have mentioned 12 theories of international trade. Also we have seen a brief explanation of theory of mercantilism and theory of absolute advantage. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and goodbye.